Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45, and we got the boys in the building tonight. We're going to have some fun. First round of World Superbike just happened. I can't wait to jump in and talk about that. We got MotoGP starting this weekend coming up. I mean, for some of us, it might be heaven, but, let's find out for sure. Welcome, Cheetah, man. Welcome back to the show. How you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing phenomenal. Rex, how are you?
Pretty good. It seems like you, myself, and Lewis got the memo on the black tees.
Yeah, man. Hey, that hat looks fly too, man. That's a good looking hat right there, bro.
Thank
Lewis,
you.
that?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to be like these two other guys we're going to bring in. How was your week, man? How's Atlanta, man?
Week's great, man. It's always a good week when we got World Superbike. We watched that. So great week so far.
All right, man. We're going to get ready to rumble. Let's keep it going with the one and only Luis Ortega from Dainese, the real Luis Ortega.
Yeah, don't get it confused. Man? The fake one, man. What's going on? How was your weekend?
Man, my weekend was pretty good. My daughter plays tennis, so I was at a tennis tournament this weekend, nice. and I got to watch her play. So that was good. Weather was a little bit chilly for me. I was looking to start a fire, but I don't think that went over at the tennis club. How things in North Carolina, man?
Things are good. It was a good day today, nice and warm. This past weekend, I was actually down by you. I was in Orlando visiting my family.
Okay, that's what's up.
Just for a couple of days, came home, worked today, went down to the racetrack and got to watch other people ride, which is always not fun, but
it's never fun watching. It's never fun. No. I know some people like to do that, but now did you see a lot of bikers coming through to go to Daytona on that side in Orlando?
Not yet, but I'm going to be down in Daytona the 6th, 7th, and 8th. So okay. I'll be there for like the main days of like the road racing.
Yeah.
And usually that weekend is pretty packed, but we'll see. I mean, last year was a pretty good turnout. I think it'll be a good turnout again this year.
All right, man. We're going to talk about a lot of turnout because a lot of that happened in World Superbike. Last but not least, Track Stars. Welcome back, man. How you doing? How's NY?
Listen, everything was great, baby. Everything is great when you take the turn like this and you just.
We're gonna have to talk about that because that hoisting of the crown may be a little bit premature. If you ask some people on social media and out in the world, man. How's your week, man? How's NY?
Yo, NY is good, man. We getting the nice warm weather back. So maybe it's time you turn these bikes on. Look, they're saying hi to y'all over there. You see in the background. Oh man, it's gonna be a good show, baby. I just put it on back there. I don't know how, just to remind y'all what the weekend looked like.
Plausible denial, man. I like that. I don't know how it came on. It's just on. Let's bring the gang in, man, because it's a lot to talk about. All right, so man, World Superbike happened this weekend, and before we get into the winners, I'll ask this question for you guys watching because I don't know how obsessed you guys are, but I was up at 10 o'clock on the Friday nights and the Saturday nights trying to watch the race. Did you guys have any issues connecting to the website?
I did not. No,
I did not.
None.
You must have taken that detour through the Moto America base site to World Superbike.
The server ran through that.
Yeah, you ran through the Moto America portal.
It must have, man, because I had to watch it in replay for some strange reason. When the race was already over, so I was up at 2 a.m. watching the races and the practice sessions. Let's talk about that. I don't know if all you guys got the catching into practice sessions and stuff like that of the weekend. Let's talk about that. There were some big crashes. It seems like some people are in a little bit of trouble in the beginning. It seems like there's every other bike except for Ducati seems to be having a little bit of trouble. So I know, Cheetah, you didn't catch the practice sessions as much, but what are your thoughts on the lineup as far as the grid position?
I mean, as far as for race one, Yeah, I mean, it was kind of what I expected in some ways, but some of the people were placed a little differently than what I expected. So I mean, as far as grid positions goes, it was on par, but where it would end up was the big question. So
got you. And Lewis, you got to watch the practice sessions. What are your thoughts on some of these bikes? And I mean, obviously we saw what Ducati did, but you know, the Kawis and the Yamahas. I mean, is it a real trouble?
For Yamaha, I think it's real trouble. Like, I think that's a, you know, there's a reason Toprak left, and there's a reason Jonathan Ray. I mean, he's a good rider. He didn't forget how to ride, but if you're a great rider on a mediocre bike, you got to overcome the shortcomings of the bike. And I think he's overriding the bike. And, you know, obviously you're seeing it in the results. You're seeing it in him crashing. Like, he hasn't been really known as a big crasher most of his life. But now, you know, it's becoming a little bit more apparent that he's trying to override what he's got because, you know, he's not on a great bike. I was pretty impressed with the Bimota.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty impressed with what they were able to do, you know, considering where the other Kawasaki's are at and where the Bimota's at, like that, you know, that shows you that they have a really good package with the bike. Yo, my man, 9th and 10th place ain't no place for a crown, man.
I think Trackstars is ready to talk about Ducati. So let's go there, man. I mean, I saw your text message saying that you know what the lottery number is going to be since you can pick winners. Did the qualifying happen the way you thought it would? And let's just jump into race one. Your thoughts on race one as well,
Man. Out of respect to my good friend, as much as we fight, I mean, you gotta love this man. I didn't call him this weekend, you know, to announce anything, but you know, it was a tough race one. You know, it was scary. Have you ever seen people race like that, like in World Superbike, like so aggressively, elbow to elbow, 3 going wide through turns? That race one was vicious.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, I'll hear Cheetah's thoughts and Lewis' thoughts, but I give my thoughts on it. But I felt like it was a bit aggressive not for the Ducati riders. You know, I feel it was a bit more aggressive for other teams. What are your thoughts, Cheetah, on what Trackstars is saying about, you know, that did it resemble BSB a little bit?
For sure, man. It was very aggressive, and I can't remember if that was the race. No, it was this next race. I'm jumping to the race where him and Bautista, Toprak and Bautista, got into that thing. That wasn't race one, was it?
Yeah, it was race one. It was race one, and then Bautista crashed out eventually.
Gosh, but that was intense, man. It's intense. Yeah. And what's that mean? Was that just Toprak trying to stay on the tail? You know, was that, you know, a lot of everything going on? Is it just he's feeling the pressures? We saw a statement made by him later, which we'll get to. So
right, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, you know, yeah. Go ahead.
No. I mean, that's it. I'm very, very aggressive racing. Yeah, and I don't know where that's coming from, but the first race of the season, probably, you know, just a judge.
Right. It's the first race, but it's also that track. That's a high-speed track. It doesn't have a lot of places where you can overtake on the brakes at a lower speed. Like, it really only has 2 slow corners. Everywhere else, you're passing on the gas. And, you know, you're going around the outside. You're trying to go around the inside. Somebody goes a little wide. You're going to try to slip that credit card in there between the rumble strip and their front tire. Unfortunately, that's the kind of racing that happens at that track specifically. Just because, again, there's only 2 places where you can kind of pass on the brakes. And even there, you gotta make a lunge. It's, you know, nobody's going to leave the door open for you. But if you look at the history of that track, even in MotoGP, that track usually equates to some really good racing until like they spread themselves out. So for the first few laps, it's tight. And then as they spread themselves out, they naturally get into their positions. They start getting into that little rhythm. And then it calms down a little bit until the end, when maybe they bunch up a little bit in small groups and they're all trying to get that extra grid position, that extra position closer to the podium. I didn't think it was overly aggressive, but I think there's definitely some people, again, outriding the machinery they're on. So they're trying to do more than they probably should just to try to stay on the tail of other bikes that are working better at that track.
Right. I'll say this. I know what you mean, Lewis, as far as the aggressive. I think it was a little bit, but nothing crazy like BSB. Mm-hmm. And to go back to, Top Rack and at the start of the race, it sounds like there's some issues going with the 2025 BMW, and I think that's what's probably showed when he ran wide and ran off the track. And Bautista had to go off the track as well because he was on the outside as well, and he had to check up. And unfortunately, Bautista took the brunt of that because he crashed out later trying to make up time, which is unfortunate for him. But you guys, let's talk about the Ducati and what they did. Last week we said Redding had to show up. And it looks like he's showing up. I won't say he's fully there yet, but it looks like he's showing up. I saw some things from Top Rock saying, it's like the Ducati Cup. What are your thoughts on them Ducatis and how they ran? It seems like there's only two that didn't finish in the top 7, 8.
You're talking to me? My bad. Yeah. My bad. I'm saying because Trackstars was ready to go. No, man, for sure. Let's talk about Redding for a second. You saw the mentality shift. Something, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's chasing Top Rack into the pits when he's about 30 feet behind him. He catches eye to eye next to him going into the pits. Very aggressive. He's there. He's there mentally. You could see, I don't know if this was the perfect track for him, but I could see Bautista catching him in some sections and being a little faster in some sections. That may be a body shape thing with the height difference and all that fits him better, geometry thing. It could be a bunch of things, but he looked a lot better. And it was an amazing race. Well, I forget what we were talking about besides
just all the Ducati riders. How about yourself, Lewis? Is it Redding that stood out to you? Anoni, Bautista? For the overall weekend, but just in the first race.
For the overall weekend, the person that stood out was Bulaga. I said that he was going to come in there and he was going to do what he has to do, and Trackstars can put that look on his face all he wants, but who was on top of the podium all 3 times? I told you Bulaga is going to be the guy to beat this year on the Ducati.
Right.
Now that we've seen how the 25 BMW is reacting, it's going to be a tough road for a Top Rack. I hope he doesn't hurt himself trying to override the bike. Outside of Bulaga, all the Ducati riders look good, but that goes back to how much of that is the Ducatis and how much of that is the riders. Because Redding was on a BMW for a long time and he couldn't find a podium with a map. He was on a bunch of other bikes. Couldn't find a podium with a map, and all of a sudden he's on a Ducati and he's in the top 7 or 8. And Trackstars think he's the next there's a second career is happening in front of us. And realistically, it is the Ducati Cup. 40% of the bikes on the grid are Ducatis.
Wow.
And Ducati's running last year's bike, not this year's bike. So they're running a bike that they already have a lot of data on, that they know how to go to all these tracks and start with a great baseline. And BMW is being forced to use their 2025 bike, and they're having a lot of problems. Their 2 riders are not putting it together well.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
With BMW, was Top Rack the only one that had that frame last year? Or did the other BMWs get it?
No.
They all had them.
And now none of them have that. So
now they're on the 25 bike.
Yeah, they're on the 25 bike, and by rules they can't use a 24 bike. What are your thoughts, Trackstars? I know Lewis is sitting here saying he called Bulaga. It's incredible what Bulaga did, and kind of expected because of where he left off. But the other Ducatis and race 2 was a lot closer.
Listen, you nailed the donkey. You pinned the tail on the donkey. In this situation. Let's party with Lewis. Lewis is the donkey because he called the obvious. Come on, Bulaga is the choice. Yeah, we know that.
Then why you pick Bautista? Bulaga.
No, but hold on. All right. So what I said, Bautista's my guy. I'm going with Bautista. And I said that there's a gentleman on a new bike, running his own team. This guy is the rider/owner.
Sam Lowe's?
And that he
Anoni?
Anoni, Sam Lowe's, who you
and
there?
I said that he was gonna show up and show out. And that's exactly what he did. My man, Scott Redding, baby. That was just incredible riding. You could tell he was, like I said, this guy has everything to gain and at the same time everything to lose. This is a new dad. And he's motivated like on a whole nother level. And you could tell straight from testing that this was gonna be, he's home. He loves the Ducati. He did say some bad things about it, and like I've always said on this show, you cannot speak about one bike on the grid, and that's, you can never speak bad about Ducati. And luckily he got another opportunity to get back on the bike that he really feels comfortable on. And it showed. It showed on a super independent team, because you guys know that is a crazy combination that they got under the craziest circumstances. This guy's getting paid by Bonovo, which was the BMW he had the contract with, and now here they are on a Ducati, and he's picked a couple people to help him out, and here he is racing and in contention for a championship. I don't care that it's race one. This guy showed out.
Okay, that's going a little bit too far, Rondell. Yeah. I mean, that's I mean, I'm a fan of Redding. He rocks 45. I rock 45. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan of him. But Anoni and Petrucci, I mean, they got a lot more to say. At last year and since they've been in the series and so forth, is BMW in trouble? I mean, and I've heard things where people are saying, BMW is just trying to get to MotoGP next year and making, excuses. Is it just the first round? No big deal. I mean, it's the round where they had the pit stops and I mean, a lot of people gained, a lot of people lost in those pit stops. So is it just one of those weekends that you just don't even worry about because the season is long, or is Top Rock really upset with BMW?
I would think he's a little upset overall. I think he's more upset with Ducati in itself too. It's too early to tell, I'm gonna say, because it's just race one, Australia. Not a lot of hard braking zones, like Lewis said. That one place, I think it's turn 4 or 5. They got that pinch up zone. That's where he ran into Bautista. So I think he's struggling a little bit. Still not 100% on health too. So it's still too early, but I know people are definitely writing BMW off now.
Is it Lewis? Is it unfair the negative press that Ducati's getting? I mean, this is some straight hate going straight to Ducati, because I always keep saying it. Honda's got a lot of titles. Yamaha got a lot of titles, and there was nobody on Ducati screaming about, well, Honda needs this and Honda that and whatever. And Ducati only has 2 titles in World Superbike. 3.
No. Ducati's got a lot of titles. If you go back in history, Ducati's got a lot of titles. Ducati was the bike to beat in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yep.
Like, you got to remember, they had a stretch there where they were just killing World Superbike.
Right.
And they didn't fall off until they introduced the Panigale. When they introduced the Panigale, that's when their whole program fell apart, because they tried to race something that wasn't proven.
Bayless was the last person to win, though, right? Troy Bayless?
No. The before Bautista, the last person to win, it might have been Troy Bayless on the 1198 R.
Yeah, because remember, Jonathan Ray had 6 in a row.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. So it was.
But yeah, I think it might have been Troy Bayless.
But
no, it was Checa. Yeah, it was Checa, Troy Bayless. Like, it was that era of riders that were on the 1098, 1198 R.
Right. Wasn't that 999 R was the one that won the most championships? No.
The 9 series, like the old 9 series, won a bunch of championships as well. The 99R was like pretty undefeated, even though you couldn't sell that bike if you sold 2 for the price of 1 because nobody liked it.
I will buy one.
Right. But is it too much flack though for what Ducati's getting right now?
It is but you need a bad guy. You need somebody to be the bad guy. You know, if you're a fan of any other manufacturer, you got to point your finger, like Tony Montana says, say that's the bad guy. You need a bad guy.
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, you know, the thing with Ducati is that, you know, they've got 8 bikes on the grid. So it's almost 40% of the grid of Ducati. So they're kind of replicating what they've done in MotoGP, but they're also bringing the best bikes to the grid. So if I'm going to start a team or I'm going to go into World Superbike and I want the opportunity to win, do I buy a Honda? No. Do I buy a Yamaha? No. Do I buy a Kawasaki? No. So what's that? I'm not going to bring a Suzuki. So what's my option? A BMW or a Ducati, and Ducati has a better proven record over the past 4 or 5 years. So, you know, you go with the one that's helping people get to the front. You know, I hate to say it, but that's what it is. And that's part of the Ducati culture, unfortunately. And that's maybe another reason why people bring so much hate, is because a lot of people hate that Ducati culture.
Right.
You know, and you know, some people love it, but other people do hate it. They're like, oh, you know, they can't stand that Ducati culture. It's like that stuck up mentality.
Yeah, listen, man, it seems like it. And they figured it out in the sprint race because it was Ducati 1, 2, and 3. We didn't see Redden on the podium track stars. Is this the year where an independent team have the opportunity to win the title, where they're pretty much all on the same bike as far as Ducati? Nah. And I'm going out on a limb and saying Ducati's going to win it this year. Track stars.
Nah. You know, I'm definitely excited for Redding. I don't think this is the year he'll win the championship. My man, if and we'll talk. Y'all brought that subject up already a few times about Redding and Top Rack connecting. Your Top Rack was kind of all over the place, you know, during the races. I'm sorry, you know, and he made contact and he fell. Bautista stayed up. And like he did earlier, he put his hand up and apologized and kept on his race when he touched. I can't remember who was the other rider he touched with.
Yeah.
But listen, this was an aggressive week, and the point was to go out there and prove that you belong in the front. And a lot of people didn't start last year like they started this year. Number one person, Bautista. This guy came ready to race. Those 24 pounds looked like they was 2 pounds. Did you see the power on Bautista's bike on the straight?
I might have seen a little bit there.
It wasn't even fair. This guy was coming from Brooklyn to Washington Heights to pick up the Picapollo and the my man, he was just gone on another level. That bike was moving. I love that. From my understanding is that, Lewis, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no rev limit. They've removed the restrictions.
For now. Well, since it's Ducati, they're never going to put them back because it's Ducati, and they don't want to piss Ducati off because Ducati is 80%, you know, is 40% of the grid. So that's one of the things when you have too many bikes on the grid, you also have a little bit too much power to swagger against those that are putting the rules together. So think about it. You only have 2 BMWs. How much noise can Top Rack and Vandermark make towards, like, you know, the FIM or Dorna to try to change the dynamics of what's happening versus I got another manufacturer that has 8 bikes on the grid, more bikes than anybody else. Am I going to piss that manufacturer off by changing rules that are going to make it a little harder for them? So this is one of the things that Top Rack was complaining about, where it's the Ducati Cup. Is like when you got that many people, you know, now they're also writing the rules or nudging the rules in their direction, in their favor.
Well, it's a combination of that. Yeah, I was just going to say it's a combination of the Ducati's elevating right now and the BMW's not working like he wants it to. He's talking about it feels like it's on ice. It won't turn. It won't stop. So if he's feeling this way, it's still too early. He's not the strongest at this track, he said, but he said he's slower than last year. You know, so
He had the choice, Peter. He had the choice. 24, 25. The only people who didn't have a choice on what bike they were gonna ride was Ducati, because there's no homologation for a 2025 V4R. There was no so these people who wanna, dibble and dabble and tip top and tippy toe through the cracks, not to break eggshells. Yo, break them, because you slipping on your own yoke. You chose the 25. You knew that it wasn't. They knew that the suspension wasn't as good as it was previously. He knew that what he talked about, the frame, Lewis, not being some type of frame that. Listen, all excuses. You made your choice. Die with it or win with it. One of the two.
Eggs are too expensive to be breaking, so don't break no eggs, man.
Right.
Yeah,
you ain't right.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Track Stars, a bit on the complaining fact, and especially so early in the season, and maybe he's taking a little bit out of Scott Redding's book. If you say it in front of the mic, people run with it, and who knows, they can affect change that way. I'll say I enjoyed the overall weekend. It was, to me, there was some crashes that, Vandermark crashing, that was crazy. We see that. Ray's out for the week for at least the next round, because Augusto Fernandez is going to step in for Portimao round. Ika Lukowono, which is one of my favorite riders. I mean, this man, he's like Anthony Davis, man. I mean, this guy, he hurt himself, and that's unfortunate. We see that with the pit stops, a lot of the riders felt like they didn't need to change tires in between it for the race and stuff like that. Is it a concern with the new second year on the surface, new surface out there in Phillip Island? We saw some of those high-end crashes, even some in the super sport class, with some of these guys look like they got sucked in the draft on the straight. Any concern with safety or just it's just normal racing weekend?
I mean, year two, they should be good. It should be good if the track's been used up. I mean, we had that same issue at Barber where there was a new track, Moto America that year, eating up tires left and right, could not get it to work at any temperature, any PSI, any time of the day. And but the next year was fine. Now the tires are like butter. So I don't know. It should be good. It just depends on, how much rubber they've laid down, how much they've smoothened off those sharp edges of the asphalt. So I don't know.
What are your thoughts, Lewis?
No, I think, again, Phillip Island's an anomaly. The weather there, the conditions there, everything is just different at Phillip Island. I think after this race, Portimao, is a European track. It's a well-bedded in track. I don't think they're going to have any problems. I mean, Pirelli always brings really, really good tires to every series that they're in. So I don't really give it too much thought. I think the next round will start to kind of answer some of the questions that are left unanswered from Phillip Island. Because again, the dynamics of that track probably suit the Ducati better than any other bike. So maybe at the next track where we got a couple of hard braking zones and we got a couple of other types of corners that you don't see at Phillip Island, maybe you start to see the BMW coming back and you start to see maybe a couple of weaker points for some of the Ducatis. I like having Phillip Island at the beginning of the year, though. I think that's really, really good, because if you look at when MotoGP goes to Phillip Island at the end of the season, it's always a shit show. It's always raining. It's always cold. It's super hot. It's just so unpredictable. This time of year, the weather's a little bit more predictable. The conditions are a little bit more predictable. Nobody was out there one day in a parka and the next day, in their rain gear, and the next day in a t-shirt. Track
stars, man. Who has the most to lose between these riders that are funding the part-time owners of the team? Annoni, Redding, or Petrucci? I'll throw them in there because they all were. Redding didn't make the podium, but they were both close. Who has to have a winning season this year?
We know Redding has to have it. We know that. That's a fact. Don't put too many eyes on people like Inione and Petrucci. They're gonna be there. Obviously, the World Superbike has turned into I no longer ride in MotoGP, and I'm going to World Superbike. You know, I've aged out of there, and I've come here to dominate. And this is a fact. The people that we have to worry about is those people who came through World Superbike and never made it to MotoGP. Those are the names that we have to worry about. We have to worry about people like Chavi Vierge. We have to worry about
Ika Lukuono,
Ikawono,
Ribe,
our 17-time champion from the Kawasaki team. Kawasaki is no longer even relevant. Now they have to call it B-Moto, baby, and put the young guns on there. These aging out riders are the ones that that came through World Superbike, never made it to MotoGP. These are the guys who have to be worried about they see, because Super Sport, baby, Super Sport. Did you watch that? That was the movie. That was the movie, and these kids, that we want to see them on the super bikes, and they can't wait. You talk about aggressive in World Superbike, World Super Sport. They were 4 wide through the corners, man. They coming up, and these guys is getting out or bring on more MotoGP riders. What you want?
Let's talk about that. The Yamahas look really well. The R9, I'm almost ready to put my R6 up for sale, man.
Relax.
Too soon, Cheetah. What do you guys thoughts on the World Super Sport?
Man, I didn't even get to catch it, man. I didn't even get to catch it, so I'm about to watch it after this. I literally had work. I was trying to catch it during work today. I couldn't even catch it, man.
No worries, man. Lewis, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, I
was I'll be honest with you, I was surprised. I'm not gonna say I was fully surprised, but I definitely was surprised by the performance of the R9. I mean, one of the things that you didn't see in the background is that both of the factory R9s also blew motors.
Yeah.
They didn't, that's not the part you market. You market the fact that you won the first race of the year on a brand new bike, which was great because Manzi won the last race of last year on an R6.
Yep.
Won the first race of this year on an R9, and then then had his weekend. I was impressed, man. I was impressed. I was really, because I was worried. The R6 just has so much history and so much development. I mean, it's been the bike to beat for years and years and years. I forgot what year it was, but there was a year where I forgot his name. He left racing for a while. He came back. He got on 2-year-old R6 and won the championship. Kyle Crutchlow.
Okay. Going back.
He left for 2 years, didn't ride. He went and bought the package, or somebody from the team bought a winning R6 package from like 2 years earlier, and they went and raced it and won the championship. And that's because the R6 has just been that beast in that class. And now with all these changes, allowing different engine configurations, different CCs and so forth, the pressure was really on Yamaha. What are you guys going to do to stay relevant in this class that you've dominated for the past 2 decades almost? And, they did well. They've come out with the R9. Again, I think it's going to take some more development time. Obviously, they oversprung these motors. That's why they blew up. But for everybody that was out there saying, oh, this new bike's going to be a turd and they should have never got rid of the R6 and blah, 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 blah. And all these people that are, like I put it online, all these people that have been holding on to R6s and selling them for 3 times what they're worth. As soon as the R9 won, they were like, oh, man. There was that meme from Tiger King. I'm never going to financially recover from this because how am I going to sell all these R6s for 3 times the value? And it just proved that the R9 can actually be as good as the R6. Right.
Damn. And I'll leave it on the Ducatis are on rookies are on the Ducatis, but the V2s didn't look as competitive. I mean, they were up there, but those guys.
What?
Come on,
Go
man.
ahead. And y'all don't get that, and that's my problem. That since the V2 name didn't change, right? They obviously still on a 959. You know what I'm saying? They must be on the 959. There's no new V2 on the grid, right?
No.
Yeah, that is a new V2. Just like there's a new R9, there's a new V2, my people. Just in case you're watching the race and didn't understand what was going on.
Last year. They're running last year.
Yeah,
they're running last year. V2. They're not running this. They're not running the 25. Yeah,
you give you the notice, bro.
Yeah,
and, I didn't even notice.
And a Triumph One race 2.
And the Triumph, with Tooth, with Booth Amos. That got listen from race 1, right? Because the race 1 dictated what was gonna happen for race 2. That kid on the Ducati
Schroeder
Masia
Masia. Yeah. He came out from Moto 2.
This kid,
if he didn't crash,
oh my God! I was just watching him go through the grid, and him and Booth Amos kind of went through the grid together, all the way to the front, and then they battling for trying to get to on the podium. Incredible. So then you already know that race 2, these guys are gonna be in the mix again. And it was the race 2 was even better. Unfortunately, Masia crashes out.
Yeah.
Under the dumbest situation, because
I think he got sucked in. He just in the draft. I think he just got sucked in.
No, yeah, but you gotta have. I mean, number one, Lewis, you were right on the money last week when you said pitting in is gonna change the game. It played such an important factor, and I hope that this becomes a thing because it was really cool for people to figure out timing, when to pit out, know what's gonna be in front of you, know the probability of you end up behind a certain individual you don't want to be behind. Because this is what happened to Masia. He pits in at the right time because he pitted in early. He follows in the leader. They go into the pit and they pit out at the right time too, because they're only letting the slower group in front. And this is exactly what pulls Masia into the rider, and he crashes, taking himself out and the rider in front of him. The kid, Booth, is so smart that he knew he had to just wait until the right time to pass these slower riders. Masia was too trying to get to the front. So maybe a little premature ejaculation, couldn't wait.
A little bit.
But it was incredible, and Lewis' name was just in my head saying, the pit is gonna play a super factor, and it's gonna be a cool thing. I was worried about it, but MotoGP needs to take a little bit of this. Moto America too. I really liked it.
Well, it's only at Phillip Island so far with the pit, and unless it's possibly rain or something like that. But it was very entertaining to watch the overall weekend. Unfortunate for those guys that crashed out, which is the downside. I mean, I'm a big fan of Schroeder as well. I'm also Schroeder, and some people are going to be healing up and hopefully coming back pretty soon. But we got MotoGP coming up this weekend in Thailand. I don't know if you guys saw already that Jorge Martin, Track Stars boy, still on vacation. Is this a way for?
I think he just hurt himself again.
Yeah,
I think he's missed a second round.
Yeah.
Doing what? How did he hurt himself again?
I don't know. Fell off the toilet. I don't
know if it's
supposedly he hurt training. He hurt himself training. Yep.
Yeah,
he hurt himself training because they as soon as they announced that he was getting surgery so quick, that doctor must have been waiting on him because it was like as soon as he fell, took a flight to Spain, boom, they get the video of him going into the hospital straight into surgery, and like 3 days later they announced he can possibly make the first MotoGP round,
Thailand round.
Oh my God. And this guy goes and then actually tries to really train on a motorcycle. I figured he would train like physically just to get into shape, but actually make the round and see how he feels. Mark Marquez did that once. I don't know if you remember that. He had gotten hurt. I believe it was with the arm when he broke it up here.
Mm-hmm.
And he was they said that he can possibly make the next round. And the guy was getting physically fit, and he goes out and does the qualifying, and he said, no, I'm not gonna be able to ride. That's what Jorge Martin should have done. You can't risk this situation. You got the number one plate on the Aprilia, who put everything, every single dollar that they had, every single opportunity to make sure that you got a competitive bike this year. You had to be smart and hold yourself, control yourself, not get on a bike until the MotoGP round and see if you're fit. If you can, you ride. And if you can, you can. You wait for, but not re-hurt your other hand. Now you got two broken hands. Remember, he had two broken feet. I'm not doubting him being able to recover and put this bike in contention again, but you can't do this. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's not a good look for a champion to start the next year and be hurt. We talked about this last season and last MotoGP season, where we saw Jorge made mistakes that were costly, and it seems like to his own doing. Is this, and again, a young person in his shoe, I'm sure he wants to prove the world wrong, Ducati wrong, everybody wrong, that they got the wrong guy. Is it just him just doing too much too soon? And like Trackstar says, he, we see some NBA players, I don't want to pick on the NBA, they get hurt in preseason and they're taking off 4 months. You know what I'm saying? We'll see you after the All-Star break kind of thing. What are your thoughts, Cheetah? I know us motorcycle guys, we ride if we can twist the throttle, right? So there's something with that, we get on the bike if we can get on the bike, that mentality. But should he take a step back?
Look, man, I'm glad they got bidets in Europe, man, because I don't know which hand he's gonna wipe his ass with now for the next few weeks. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this guy really has pushed too hard on that Sepang test, but I was unaware of this new left hand injury just happened, and that's tragic. And if he has to get surgery for that, surgery or not, if it's a fracture, it's a good few weeks, 4 to 6 weeks of healing before you can even get back on it. So he's doing too much, man. I give him the doing too much stamp for this one. It's too much.
What are your thoughts, Lewis?
Same thing. The one difference between motorcycle racing and other sports is like we don't have a 125 game season. We can't take every fifth event off, but we have gaps of time between races. And hopefully that usually is enough time to heal from most injuries. But when you start breaking bones and getting surgeries and things like that, and then you re-break them and you're trying to train, you're just really going to hurt yourself. I mean, Mark Marquez is living proof of that. Some guys can come back from an injury and ride well and everything, but I think for somebody his age, he should be thinking about a little bit more longevity and stop worrying about that number one plate. At the end of the year, he's not going to have that number one plate. It's not going to be on his bike, man. It's going to get peeled off his bike and it's going to get put on somebody else's bike. At the end of the year, it's not going to be on his bike. So understand where you are in your career, heal up. You got plenty of time this year. You're going to be able to ride. You're going to be able to race. You might even win a few races this year. And then, look for building off this year, understanding the bike this year, developing the bike this year. But, he's not, at the end of the year, he's not going to be racing for the championship. He might, if he's lucky, he'll be in the top 6.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because like the bone breaking thing is no joke. Yeah. I was talking to my orthopedic. I broke my hand a few weeks back, 12 weeks ago. I broke my foot last year around the same time. So the doc was telling me, the orthopedist said, you heal up in 10 to 12 weeks, you can start doing your activities. But a year from now, you take an x-ray, it still looks broken. Yeah. So I had that going into these sessions, and I'm like, healed up, but what happens if I land on that hand again? And I'm not even racing for money. This guy's an asset. So I hate to see that, man. He should have toned it down a good bit there.
Rags, me and Lewis, Yo, we always talk about this. He says LeBron James could never race a motorcycle. He could never, because you know how he over exaggerates his flopping and his complaining and crying every time he gets hurt. Um, the only the and we've gone back and forth on this. He says the only people who could actually race are probably football players because they play with broken arms, legs. They play. They put a cast on and you'll see them suited up.
Kobe is a good example of basketball players that play hurt. Jordan, some errors back. I don't want to, make this an errors war, but I get what you're saying with these new basketball players, these young basketball players. Definitely taking time off for toe injuries and finger injuries and European football. When you say football and American football too, European football players they get jacked up too, and they still go out there and put a lot of miles on the soccer field. Let's talk about who's gonna shine this weekend in Thailand. Then is it gonna be Bezzecchi on the Aprilia? Is it all Ducati? The Yamaha. They still turn well, right?
Man, I'm going 93, baby. 93, man. That's the strong track for him. He's feeling good in red. He looks good in red. Feels good in red. I can't wait to see a good season for him. I'm a fan. So
yeah.
There are other options, though. There are a few good potentials there. Bezzecchi, if Pecco can pick his pace back up on the new platform, there's a few other contenders, but my favorite's 93, man. I think he's going to get this one.
Okay. I believe they're using the 24 chassis and engine, I think, on Ducati. So it's going to be familiar for all six riders. So I do believe Morbidelli is going to come out on top because he got some seat time on that bike alongside Pecco and Marquez. But what are your thoughts, Lewis? I mean, is it all Ducati or KTM is just holding back a little bit?
Nah, that's going to be all Ducati lockout on the podium. What combination of Ducati? That's going to be the interesting part because now everybody's on the same bike. Whereas last year the factory team and a couple of guys were on the 24 bike, everybody else was on the 23 bike. Right. Now everybody's on the 24 bike, so it levels the playing field. But with that said, the factory team always has a little extra. Don't believe the hype. Like they're always going to have the up, down, left, right code. So they're always going to have that little bit extra. So, I definitely see it's going to be a Ducati lockout. It's just what order is the Ducati going to be? Personally, again, I'm also a Marquez fan. I would love to see him start the year with a W. A lot of people have said that it looked like he was sandbagging in a lot of the early trials on the bike, and like he was holding back, like. So maybe he's just looking to see what he can do with this new bike, what it does differently. Some of the feedback that they've gotten where Bagnaia is looking at Marquez's data, like I'm trying to figure out how he does that.
All right. So track stars. We hear these two guys, a team, Marquez. I've seen Marquez starting to talk, and it sounds like he might have went to Rome, went to the Vatican. He's doing the peace talk. He's doing the team talk so far. Are you converting a little bit as well to the Marquez thing? Is the talk show?
Come on, Rex. You sounded like Smitty out here, man. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking like this. You sounded like Smitty out here, man.
Okay. I'm just asking because, we like to play team ball, right?
There is no team in Ducati right now. There is no team. You heard it. We're going to work together. We're going to work together until testing ends. Testing has ended. Finish him. Mortal Kombat style.
So it's time for Marquez to use Bagnaia as a berm, bump his ass off the track, old school Honda style, and take off.
Let's talk about that. There's been one person that has been dragged by his team in front of his wife, okay, for not being aggressive enough. You know, for losing a championship, being a factory team to a non-factory team, there's been one person that's been belittled, and he is a two-time champion. He's coming for blood. He's coming for blood, and I'm telling you, there's gonna be a different. Jesus Christ!
He's a two-time champion. I mean,
yeah. He won the Moto2 championship back to back, if I remember, right, Max? Like, he dominated for like 2 years.
You know who I'm talking about.
And then there's another guy that's like a 8-time champion. That's next to a 2-time champion.
Hey, boy, got an 8 ball, man. What you talking about?
And he's looking for a 9-time champion.
You saw him hit that pool ball when he won the 8th one, right into the hole.
I cannot believe
that 2-time champion, he likes to fold like a cheap Italian suit. That's why he lost to a non-factory rider, because every time he had opportunity to step away, he threw it into the trash. And then he blamed this person. He blamed that person. Oh, this person hit me. This happened here. Like, yo, my man, it's racing, not letting you go by.
Fairness,
if it was letting you go by, it wouldn't be racing.
Everyone lost to a satellite team.
Yo, listen, I cannot believe. You know, I understand Cheetah. I understand Lewis Rex. You out of line. Hey, I can only go for you right now. You hear me?
I got Ducati long enough to drink the Kool-Aid long enough, man. Maybe in another year, maybe he might have drank enough of Ducati Kool-Aid to agree with you. He still has a clear mind and understands the reality of the situation.
But I'm telling you right now, it's definitely gonna be Pecco in front of Mark. It's definitely gonna be. Come on.
And then Pecco will make a mistake, because that's what he does.
Lewis, remember
what?
In training, in testing, Pecco never got to do a race simulation. And he was tenths off of Marquez time, who did race simulation. Who is sandbagging? Who is sandbagging and who? Nah. I'm telling you, just remember that detail. And I'm gonna tell you who's gonna be. Like, I call Scott Redding. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna be the
ridiculous, bro. He's gonna say something completely ridiculous.
Let's hear it.
Tony Elias. Say something ridiculous, bro. Something really out of like
Alex Marquez.
I gotta actually agree with him.
Yeah, that's
Alex Marquez.
Like, I think if there's going to be 3 Ducatis on the podium, Alex has a real good chance of being that 3rd Ducati, man.
He looked really good at Sepang. We'll see what he looks like at Buriram.
Yeah, and third year on the Ducati, right? So
exactly. Cheetah, and remember, if you're a Marquez fan, I'm not even going to talk to Lewis right now because he won't hear me out regardless. He won't hear me. But Cheetah, listen to me. I'm talking to you. You, Cheetah. Alex Marquez sacrificed himself for his brother.
He did. I think
he is no longer on the team. They're gonna set him loose.
Right.
You. This is his year to really show out. Because you know what he wants? He wants that seat next to his brother.
Right.
If listen to this, and yo, I've been. Yo, I said it. I said when I said Alex Marquez is gonna go to a Ducati, and his brother is gonna follow in his footsteps. And if Marc Marquez makes it to the factory team, he is gonna bring his brother to the factory team. I'm telling you, and this is Alex's year to prove it. And you know where Pecco's gonna go?
Unemployment?
No, to VR46 on a Ducati, and he's gonna be the next one. He's gonna be the next.
You got
he had a good night's sleep, and he had a good.
Somebody sold you that good stuff somewhere out in the street in New York, man.
That was a nice dream. Nice. That sounded good.
Cheeto's talk about 8 balls, man. I think you slip back into the 80s.
Yo,
listen, Ducati will never have a team that doesn't have at least one Italian rider. The same way that for a year Honda always tried to keep one Spanish rider for Repsol. Ducati will never have a non-full team that doesn't have at least one Italian rider. That's That's just politics.
Yeah.
We've seen crazier things happen this year.
Yeah, I mean,
Stay tuned.
I think Alex Marquez could get a factory seat, but not with not with Ducati, and maybe 2027, 28. I don't know, but not like it's going to be. They owe Bagnaia. He's going to stay on until 2027. So that's just, and I think he's already signed up for that already. So it's going to be really hard to get rid of Bagnaia. An interesting thing though is that, as you say, Alex Marquez not being his brother on the same team, because I'm pretty sure Marc Marquez was getting parts that he might not have got. Maybe got more options. Just Marc Marquez's dad was in his box more than what he was in Alex Marquez's box. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now that that's separated again, I think it's good for Alex, and we'll see him shine. But the problem is, who's scared of Alex Marquez?
No,
they should.
No, nobody. They should be though.
They should be, because he's a Moto2 champ too, right, Cheetah?
He is.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he is.
They should be.
So
Moto3
he knows how to
Moto2,
win.
so he's double.
And
He knows how to
double.
win. Yep.
Yeah, he's a champ going, and he's bringing that heat. And Track Stars, I don't see him going to any other factory team besides the Ducati team, and I don't think he has that opportunity anytime soon or coming up. I think they've got enough stars in the seats and potential stars coming back. I mean, one of my dreams would be to see our star Jorge end up on a Ducati factory seat one day, but that's a far-fetched thing because he didn't get that shot, and now he's trying to prove himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, constantly want to come back, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting with Alex to see for sure if he can bring that heat and really get some podiums in there to start drawing some heat. Yeah,
I think the chances of Martin ever getting a factory Ducati seat are very, very slim after everything that's happened. I think Alex Marquez might get a factory seat, but it won't be with Ducati. It might be with like Yamaha or somebody else at some point. If the talent starts to show, if he starts to show in the results, and I think it'll show this year because, like everybody said, last year the attention was mainly on his brother. All the parts went to his brother first. I'm sure his brother had the best mechanics, the best tech guy, everything. And even though he shared data with Alex, there's still a difference in the box if you got all the best mechanics on your side and all the best tech guys on your side. And then, so there is a difference, the A guy and the B guy. The A guy always gets that little bit of extra love than the B guy. Doesn't matter if it's family or not. But I think this is a great year for Alex to prove himself because, again, the first year he was with Ducati, it was without his brother. Mm-hmm. And he did fairly well, but he was new to the bike. Last year, he did fairly well in a couple of races. And I think this year, now that it's a level playing field, everybody's on the same bike, and he's the A rider on the team, he's going to get the most attention. I think this is his opportunity to kind of repeat the results that his brother did last year for himself this year. Yeah, I don't think he's not as talented as Mark. I think, Mark is just that next level of talent, but Alex is still a very, very talented, competent rider. I mean, he is a multi-time champion for a reason.
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain point there, Lewis. I'm going to ask this to Track Stars. You're talking about Alex is going to be the A rider. Furman Aldeguer is like Pedro Acosta. I mean, he had a bad year, and he is like Pedro Acosta. So if he does show up in MotoGP like Pedro did, how long is Alex going to be the A rider?
Man, that's a tough question, because they're really pushing. They're really pushing these young riders. And Alex, as young as he is, he's not a young rider anymore. He's already gotten his feet wet. He's switched motorcycles, motorcycle teams. He's considered an experienced person and a staple in MotoGP at this point. Like we say, he's a two-time champion. Right now it's about him continuing to grow on his legacy and actually win a MotoGP championship now. Meanwhile, these kids, these younger guys, they're out here to prove themselves and really show their growth. I think Alex is next. in MotoGP. I think his brother will be still dominant, but he'll be coming up soon, and be able to somewhat hang with his brother and other MotoGP champions that are currently champions. Right. Because I feel so strong about that he sacrificed himself at Gresini to allow his brother to really dominate. I'm sure there were things that were given to him to test. Meanwhile, Marquez is on the same bike that he feels confident in. To kind of Alex was his test rider in many ways to assure a championship for his brother. And I think this year now the gloves is off, and you could tell even in testing he was one of the fastest guys on the Ducati. And I'm excited to see what's coming up for him. These other guys they got plenty time to make a name for themselves, and their names are already hot. Eyes is already on them.
Right,
so
right. But if Furman Aldeguer comes out and have a rookie season similar to Pedro, I mean, we see Pedro's second year on a factory seat. So I'm just saying, and I believe that Furman Aldeguer is the same type of rider as Pedro. I mean, like he was killing the European League when Pedro was a rookie in Moto3. I mean, the first year in Moto2 for him, he didn't start showing up until the end of the year. And last year, I don't know what happened because I think that contract got to him. But he has the potential to be a Pedro Acosta.
Man, to Cheetah's point, is all gonna be about these guys staying healthy, not breaking bones, and being accessible to ride. That's it.
Okay. That's what's up. So have we called it for the weekend? Who's winning? Is it Marquez, Bagnaia? I haven't decided.
I can't even say that right with the straight face, man. Bagnaia.
Can't. I'm looking forward to what happened. I
try that again.
I think Bezecchi's done well in Thailand. There's a lot of fast riders. I mean, they're on new bikes, but it's not a foregone conclusion that it's going to be Ducati on the first round. But anything is possible.
I don't think anybody will sweep. Let's put it that way. I think there'll be different winners for the different races. So I think the sprint race will have one winner and the full race will have a different winner. I don't think it'll be the same person going back to back. I don't think there's anybody that's going to really dominate this weekend. I think there'll be the same people that I mean, it's the same guys always in the top five. Let's be honest, man. But I think it might be a mix of who's on the top of the box for the sprint race and who's at the top of the box for the full race. And again, weather conditions might throw a wrench in there. If it starts to rain, all of a sudden, Miller or somebody that's a rain specialist now looks like the greatest racer ever. The KTM will have an opportunity if it rains. Miller will definitely have an opportunity if it rains. All the rain specialists will go to the front. Marquez will go to the front because he's a rain specialist. If it's a wet, dry condition, I mean, Marquez seems to always come through in the wet, dry conditions or when you have to switch bikes. For some reason, he just knows the timing of the weather better than anybody else. So it could be a fun weekend, man. I think it'll be interesting, but it definitely is going to be mainly Ducatis on the box, man.
You concur, Track Stars and or Cheetah?
Man, I feel like I'm gonna stick to who I said. I got Pecco, Marquez, and that's Mark, and then Alex. But I think that the real deal is gonna be everything racing behind those three guys. I think that's where the fun aspect is gonna be because I feel like this season we're just watching who wins first and second because we feel like we know it's between Pecco and Mark. I think everything else is really where the racing is gonna be exciting as well to watch because, like you said, we have all these young stars and we have kind of solidified people such as Bezecchi, Vinales. Who else could I say will be in contention? I really hope to see Luca get in the mix. And me, like, I really want to see the Honda move up in the game, but I'm not so confident. But I feel like the people that can surprise you for those fourth and fifth spot, I think, and that's where the gamble is. Like, if we were betting on one of those things, that's where you're gonna lose your money or gain some real money, because you calling out and saying Bezecchi is gonna come in fourth. That'll be major, and very possible. But so is an opportunity for someone like Acosta to really come in and upset you. You know, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, but that's where the racing's gonna be. Fourth place and third place is gonna feel like first and second.
Okay. All right. I could live with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just I think we could bet the house safely on the top three being Ducati. I think which order it may come in is the question, but 4 or 5, like Trackstar says, is very interesting, and I'm curious to see who shows up there, because you got. I don't want to count out Quartararo. I mean, he did good. He did good in Sepang, and Burham got some long straights. You know, you got Bezzecchi, you got Morbidelli, all solid 4, 5, 6 contenders there. So I think it's more of a, we're going to have 2 races. You know, we're going to be watching top 3 and top 4, 5, 6 there. And I'm really curious to see how Alex even mixes it up there. So, but I think top 1 is, you know, there's only one top 1. Come on now.
You get out of here, man.
And I do think that these other teams are going to have to, they're still working out the grounds on their bikes as well. So they're not going to be up front like Ducati, because their bikes pretty much staying the same. Everybody else is pretty much on newer bikes or combinations and stuff. So for them, it's just who between the last testing and this first round who have sorted out the issues and so forth. And whichever manufacturer's done that, they're going to be, you know, they get a chance to be in the top 5. Top 6, I'll give that, because I'm not going to rule out Brad Bender, Acosta. I like you said, Quartararo, Rins, Vinales got a lot to prove. Bezzecchi got a lot to prove. Zarco. These are guys that you know, these are quick guys, and they may not have the package they want, but they're the ones that seem to be getting the most out of their bikes at last year and in testing so far. Let's, you know, I think this is a wrap for the show, man. I'm looking forward. Go ahead.
I got one question, because I like to always put a question to everybody else on the way out.
All right.
I want to know what you guys think about drama in racing, because I feel that we don't have the shit talking that we used to have in racing, because everybody wants to be too friendly with each other. And I hate to say it, but drama spices up the bowl and makes the racing a little more exciting. And we don't have the shit talking. Everybody's super friendly. Like this whole thing with MotoGP, putting all the top 3 guys in a car and recording them as they go to the podium. Maybe I don't like you, man. Maybe I don't want to be in the car with you. You know, like I think they're trying to make it too friendly. And I think about when I saw racing, or the racing that I felt that was the best, the most intense, is when the fans got involved because their rider had a rivalry against somebody else's rider, and they were vocal about it. You know, Sete Gibernau and Rossi fighting each other because of a hit at Spain. You know, Lorenzo and Rossi putting up a wall. You know, Rossi built his career off shit talking and stirring up the pot. And now it's like everybody's friends, man. And I don't know, is it me, or like I'm not enjoying it as much? Even in Moto America, like I know people in Moto America that legit don't like each other, but they won't vocalize it. Right. And I don't understand why not, because guess what? As a fan, I want to know that you don't like that guy, because you know what? I don't like that guy. And if you don't like that guy, now I like you for not liking that guy.
Yeah. I'm the same way, man. You need that controversy. If not, put everyone in the same color helmet, same color leathers, and same color bike, same number. Can't tell who's who. Why do we need to know? Why do we need a personality? Right? Because that's what sells. And sure, you might argue, okay, we don't need to go and fight outside of the track because we're fighting to death on the track. MMA fighters fight to death in the cage. They fight outside the ring too, in the press conference. And those are the ones that sell. The Mike Tyson fights, you remember? The ones he talked trash. I'm going to eat you alive. You know, that's what you remember. So I wish they would allow it. I'm sure there's a political sort of whole thing going on, language where you're not supposed to talk this way or that way. But gosh, I wish they would bring out a little more drama and, you know, just spice it up, like you said, man, because that is what sells. It's all the antagonizing that goes on, that the challenge, you know, and in reality TV, they have to create a fake challenge because they don't even have challenges. You need a challenge to make it fun. So drama, challenges, I want to see more of that.
I'll let you go, Trackstar.
I think we're getting back to it. You know what I mean? I think right now, with what we saw transpire live on TV with I don't want to say his name wrong, Tortellino, with Pecco screaming at him, telling him, you got to be more aggressive. You cannot be this nice guy. I think that this is the beginning of them televising. Let's bring rivalry back. We know that there is a huge rivalry between Marc Marquez and Valentino Rossi. And Pecco's representation of VR46, his little protege is Pecco Bagnaia, you know, and he's gonna hold on to that card, and he's this year you're gonna see Rossi probably a lot next to Pecco, even more so than in the past years, because we always see that, right? He's always right there. And with this wall that got built, because there was a wall between Rossi and Lorenzo, and there's gonna be a wall between Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. So we're gonna see spice like on another level. We're gonna see we might see a round where Pecco and Marc go out due to a crash. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. We're gonna see a round where Marc takes out Pecco, and we're gonna see the return of that, Pecco taking out Marc, and we're gonna hear the announcement of Ducati not wanting this type of racing, you know, that it's a team. But the lines got drawn early, especially in testing when that was announced. We are only working together until testing finishes. It's gonna get spicy, like for real. So all that rivalry that we want to see, it's gonna come back. And Louis, you know that Moto America keeps it kind of official. Like we seen it live on TV with friends of ours. You know, like there's no sugarcoating who's the enemy and who are friends. Right.
Nobody in Moto America is a good shit talker.
In Moto America. That we know, Schultz, Gagne.
Heron likes to put on a show in front of the camera.
Heron's is Conor McGregor level in Moto America.
Yes, I don't know why he feels like that. That Heron is like this sugar coat, like he sprinkles sugar when he needs to and salt when he needs to.
He does.
This guy,
bro, he went over to Bobby Fong last year because he knew the cameras were there, because he's trying to make clickbait. Heron is trying to make money off what he's doing, which is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he's doing the right thing. He's shit talking when he needs to shit talk so that he can build some media and content around it.
Right.
My problem is on the opposite side. Bobby Fong should have shit talked him back, and he didn't because he kept it a little too chill. And if that situation had been different, that would have been an opportunity for them to start a real rivalry that they both will benefit from, because it brings attention to both of them. Because not everybody's a Heron fan and not everybody's a Bobby fan. And if they start this spice the right way, now you can actually divide the fans. And some of them are going to go for Bobby. Some of them are going to go for Heron. And now you bring even more attention to the next round, because what happened after that shit talk incident? Everybody wanted to see what happened in the race. People were tuning in to see, let's see what happened in the race when Bobby and Heron are out there together. But it never happened because, again, it happened that one single instant. But because you're not supposed to shit talk, you're supposed to be friendly.
I don't know if it's because, I mean, I think it's a different era. One part, and I don't think there's enough money in the sport like it used to be, where you could shit talk because you were making so much money that it was okay. I think people are concerned about their brand and not losing money, so that you're not seeing that shit talk like that you talked about. And also these new riders, they if they've been coming up together from their 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old in all these classes, it's hard to still be talking trash when you're in the pros. So I think, and
trust me, there's a lot of people racing in Motor America that hate other people's guts.
Oh, for sure. I was going to say, I'm sure that,
they got 16, 17 years worth of hate because they grew up racing each other and they dislike each other from when they were 15. Now that they're 32, 33, they still hate each other.
Right. But that's still a different age group, right?
Josh and Hayes. That's a real rivalry.
Yeah, that was a real rivalry.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're looking at these young kids now, the 24-year-olds, 23-year-olds, and 22-year-olds. They're coming in with a different mindset than those guys, and those guys are getting aged out. I mean, and I know we see it in. I have no problem with it in the sport whatsoever. But I think a lot of people are thinking about their money. They're thinking about their social media platforms and stuff like that. What they're going to do after racing and stuff like that. And they might be sparring when the lights go out. We don't know. But they're making sure we don't see it. Even you saw the incident with Pecco last year and Alex Marquez, and Alex was just like, essentially saying you're costing me money by saying, these things about me. You know what I mean? In a negative light. And Pecco had to roll that back, right? In the past, live with it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a different era. I would watch it if it's not there. I'm saying? I'm from the tennis world, even though in the 80s that a lot of people talk trash, but it's a gentleman's game. It's and that kind of thing. So if you're out here winning all the time, so what? I don't necessarily need to hear the trash talking part of it, especially when we see, younger kids watching and seeing these things, you know what I mean, and thinking that you need to be that because let me throw my daughter in with her tennis and stuff like that. You want to come on a tennis court and play like Roger Federer. You don't know if he's happy. You don't know if he's sad. You don't know whatever. He's pretty much like a robot when he played. But that's the equivalent of where you're trying to get to, because when you have that mental stability where nothing can shake you, you're gonna be one of the greats. When it's easy for somebody to talk trash and get in your head, and in this sport these days, like I've seen videos of, we'll talk about Rossi and Marquez when he used his knee to hit the handlebar and he went down in Argentina. But we've seen it with other guys, grabbing people's handbrakes on the straight because they're pissed at them and stuff like that. Granted, nobody got seriously hurt in those situations, but it's quick for you look at, I don't remember, it was NASCAR or whatever, when those riders got out his car on the track and got sucked under by Johnson there, right? Yeah. Because he was pissed. So I like it to a degree, but how do you roll it back not to get too crazy?
But listen, but here's the thing, man, that the good racing sells fans, man. When you're a shit talker, good shit talkers, you still have nations. Yes. Nations start following you. Literally, you can win and back it up. Rossi ended Max Biaggi's career off shit talking and bullying him.
Well, he backed up what he said.
Ended him because he was able to do what he said, like Conor McGregor, talk the shit, call out the round he's going to knock you, and the punch he's going to knock you out, and he do it, and you're charming with it, you get away with it, and you're that bad good guy that everyone wants to root for, and some are going to want to see fall too. But that's what sells. That's what puts viewers and everyone, and it doesn't have to be that way. To your point, Rex, but God damn it, some of us enjoy that shit. Yeah.
It has to be the right balance.
And how many of these riders can back that up, though? That's the thing. How many of these riders can actually talk trash and back it up? I would only say Marquez right now. Who else in MotoGP can talk trash and back it up? Yeah, on the track, not in the front.
Go ahead, Lewis. I want to say something.
True.
I think there's a right balance of trash talk for just promoting the event. Promoting yourself and promoting, like there's just a right. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be trash talk. It can be little subliminal things that you do that the fans pick up on, that you're calling somebody out. Like you put a patch on your leather suit that has like a little snide remark, and people know, oh, that's for this rider. Like that's for this. This week he got a special helmet on, like what Rossi used to do. He used to make special helmets to call out other riders, like the shark and the little fish. That was a calling out to Lorenzo, because he beat Lorenzo at a rain race. And it was like, yo, the shark was after me, but the little fish won, like, so there,
but Lewis,
there's
let me ask you this, man.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you this because this is a good point. The more we think about it, and I'm starting to lean towards Rex, because there's a lot more political aspect to this. Fighters, they fight. They don't have to worry about too much. They'll sponsor you if you're a fighter and you talk trash and you win. But in this, if you talk trash to the wrong person, like there's a chance that team may never hire you in the future.
No, but that's why you never, like any rider knows, you never talk trash about a motorcycle company. You never talk trash about.
But it's inevitable. It's inevitable when you're talking.
Well, you can always say, like, even Top Rack is like, hey, this is the Ducati Cup. That's a moment of anger, because he's struggling on a bike right now, and he feels like he's one guy out there fighting 8. But it's not like he said Ducati is a shit box or the worst bike out there. He's just like, hey, Ducati is dominating this series. What can we done to bring them in to make the series a little more even? Yeah. But rider to rider,
BMW too, by saying that.
Yeah. And
exactly. Listen, but we just growing up in different times right now. We're from a generation. Well, I'll say my age. I'm 44 years old, and I grew up where you had to be the bully or be bullied, and there was such a thing as having 2 bullies, but who was the bigger bully? At the end of the day, it was about being dominant and having the power. And now we're detuning our kids. We're detuning our higher ups, and almost empowering the people who are below. So there's no point of trying to be powerful. It's almost, you can also try to be complacent. And that's what's happening in sports. Everyone's getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars in the NBA, whether it's your shoe deal or your contract. When people really had to earn that, when Jordan had to earn the right to make $23 million for one season, like it was unheard of. But now the dude on the bench is making $20 million. So what's the incentive to continue to move up? Same thing in MotoGP. If we're saying, or even World Superbike, if we're saying, if you win, we're going to take power away from you. Instead of giving you more power, we're going to give the power to the class that's below. Who's the bully now? Is the bully the one with unlimited tires for race day, or is it now the one who wins only gets 4 sets? Like the competition of being mentally strong is, I don't think it exists in the playing field, and that's the mind games have to play a factor in leveling that.
I will say this: I think it doesn't have to be 2 bullies. It's one love. You got to go with the Rasta way. We don't start fights, but we finish them. But it's one love. It's peace all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you can move around in a certain way where the bullies don't bother you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to talk. They just, you move a certain way. So I get what you're saying, but there is 2 sides. There's another side that we can walk, and I think, and not we want to go on a little bit, but like Kobe Bryant said a thing, the difference between him and like a LeBron James, where he had 2 parents. He was raised in a household with love. For guys that have a single parent house, their hunger because of how their living condition is what's driving them. So once they get to the top, what's chasing them to be great? Because you don't have the love. But when you have love, you're going to keep going. You're going to keep pushing. Because you're doing it for the love. You're not doing it because you're trying to change your life. You're trying to get out of poverty or anything like that. And so I think if people do it for the love, and that's what you're going to push yourself every day. And I think, go ahead.
I was going to say, you lovely Kobe example. I love Kobe. And I think you're talking about specifically when he was in that junior league camp when he scored 0 and his dad told him, "I still love you." And when he heard that catapulted him into success in the near future. But don't tell me he didn't create enemies. Don't tell me you didn't talk all the trash in the gym. Don't tell me you didn't say you soft as Sharman.
Oh, for
Kobe
sure.
punched his players.
But again, this is
you got to be able to tap into it. And I think, Rex, you got a point. You got to have that love side.
Yeah.
That's what makes you the ultimate weapon. When you have that love from within, you know how to really play the other side and know when you can use it. But if you don't have love within, all you got is anger to show and bitterness and sourness. So I think you need that love for sure to be the ultimate weapon.
I think your writing speaks for itself. Like your writing always speaks for itself. Your competitive speaks for itself. But then having that extra bit of personality, that thing where you kind of set yourself apart. So it's not just a room where everybody is the same. You know, you're setting yourself apart. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to go after somebody. But if somebody comes after you, you shouldn't be the guy turning the other cheek all the time either. Like there's a time and a place where, you know, I'm not saying throw hands, but you know what? I'm going to set myself apart from everybody else. I'm not going to let you
ground.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you come here and flex and think that I'm not going to speak back to you, or I'm not going to do something again to bring attention to the situation in a way that makes you look foolish. You picked the wrong fight with the wrong person. You know, I'm going to put that patch on my suit. I'm going to make that special helmet. I'm going to make that extra comment on the podium. It's nice from up here in the top number one step. Hey, what's it like down there? You know, I'm going to call you out when you're looking up at me on the number one. Be like, hey, it's I'm much higher up here. I didn't realize how low down number 3 is. Or if you didn't make it to the podium, be like, hey, he already in the garage. Oh, I was going to say something, but he's already in the garage. You know, man. You don't have to go hard in the paint, but you go in the paint.
It's already bad when the first loser is the worst position to have.
And you know what? It's going to be on the other foot because you're not going to win every race.
Right.
So now you get a little bit of back and forth going. But again, you do it in a respectful way because you're just reiterating something that's there. Like you create artificial drama. I mean, we pay millions of dollars to watch reality TV. It's scripted. All that drama is scripted. The Kardashians, all that shit is scripted.
I mean, look at our fans. Us as fans, we're watching these things, and like, say Marquez said something to Pecco, even subtle. We just read.
We take it out of we take it out.
And then we'll be watching them in practice. They'll pan to Marquez. They know what they're doing. They know how to create that drama. They pan to Marquez. They'll pan to Pecco, and Pecco just sitting there normal. But we'll be like, oh, it got to him. It's in his head.
He got him.
Pecco's
folding.
That's what it creates that fun, man. The energy. It's like a movie playing out live. We're like, where's this movie gonna go? So,
man, we paying for these memberships. MotoGP is $180. I think it is. To watch it a season. Moto America is $125. I don't know how much it is, but it's money. You know what I mean? Like it's not cheap to watch these things, and you want the drama. I mean, there is a lot of drama just with the manufacturing changes, but we want more. You know.
Track stars, you got to buy some stocks in Limited Media Group, man, and so you be paying yourself. All right, man. Tell people how we can keep going forever. Tell people how they can find you, man.
Man, it's just simple, man. Cheetah 740, Instagram, YouTube. Not a lot been posting lately, but races coming soon.
Real Luis Ortega on Instagram, but send all my messages to Trackstar. He loves to answer how I'm right all the time.
Oh man!
Look at that! I shot him so hard, his camera got stuck.
Right?
_ STARZ on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. If you
look at that, I shook him. See, this is drama, y'all.
I think by now we might know his speech, but it's track stars everywhere.
And if you want a Ducati, come to Ducati New York, baby. I'll pull up myself to make sure we get you on one of those nice new V2s, or my favorite, the V4 R or base, whatever you want. Ducati, I'm gonna help you get it because I want everyone on the Ducati. I want it to look like the MotoGP grid in the streets. Everyone gets a Ducati because that's how you win.
I agree. I hope everyone has a Ducati.
Hey, bring that Ducati to the track stars.
I stay at the track. You know that.
I'll show you what a Cowie will do. A little 636.
The trash talking is happening. Go to Workbench Technology for all your IT needs. Go to Freedom Cycles if you're not going to New York. And New York got a lot of traffic, and they pay tolls to get into Manhattan and stuff like that. Go to New Hampshire, lights, green, trees, and everything. You can get a Ducati. You can get a KTM. There's a lot of brands. I love Ducatis, but I love bikes. So if it has a motor and two wheels, I'm a fan. Tell them B4evaKool sent you and get that discount. My name is Rex45. All right. Peace.
Peace.